Hetepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Kasak Ma Keparu with another video for you. And in this video, I've come across a really interesting article which says that the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously. But before I get into the article, I want you to hit a like button on this video. And if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on more videos. And I want you to share this video with family and friends so we can get this revolution started. Now, the title of this article is "A New Theory on Time Indicates Present and Future Exist Simultaneously." Now, if you are a veteran to my site, you know I always talk about this, about how the left brain concept of time looks at it linearly, but the right brain concept is nonlinear, and that the only thing that exists is the forever now moment. And this article really tackles that and leads in a direction where it's trying to prove to you that everything is existing simultaneously, which I'm really happy that they are making these discoveries. So let's go into this. So it says, according to a new controversial theory, everything around us is intricately planned and each and everyone's destiny has already been decided. Now, when they say each and everyone's destiny has been decided, this is something that, you know, Kemetic people have already known, because the first thing that I do when I'm working with individuals is I do a destiny or incarnation objective reading to find out why you came to Earth. Because Neter, or Nebuchadnezzar, Lord of all, has a plan for you. So we see now that science is getting into the realm of spirituality. So let's continue. The new theory suggests that time does not pass and that everything is ever present. Keep going. In fact, time is not linear, as we have been thinking all along, and everything around us is ever present. The researchers indicate that time should be regarded as a dimension of space-time. So let me just clarify that. So when we look at that 3D and 4D, 3D is the third dimension, height, weight, width. And you add time into that, then you have the fourth dimension, 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. All right, so I'll continue. It does not pass by us in some way because space-time doesn't. Instead, time is part of a uniform, larger fabric of the universe, not something moving around inside it. According to a scientist, everything that has happened and everything that will happen is in fact occurring at the very same moment as time is positioned in space. The new theory proposed by Dr. Bradford Skeoch, an associate professor of philosophy at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, indicates that if we were to look down on the universe, we would actually observe time and events spreading out in all directions. So what does this actually mean? Well, it suggests that time as we know it is incorrect. In other words, it is not linear as we have been thinking all along. In fact, everything around us is ever present. Now, the only reason that we have been thinking that time is linear is because we have been subject to left brain ideology in Western culture. Remember, all of the so-called scholars, scientists, the most brilliant men were left brain thinkers, and everything that they postulated came out of that framework. And a lot of that is incorrect because they have not taken into account other states of existence, which you can only postulate based on integrated brain thinking. So if you're trapped in left brain thinking, you'll never consider other realms of possibility. All right, so let's just keep that in mind. And this is why the African shaman and priests and priestesses and the medicine men all thought integrated, and they were able to create religions and spirituality that took into consideration different variables, not just relegated to left brain thinking. All right. The new theory is detailed in Dr. Skeoch's book, Objective Beginning, where he writes, when you ask people, tell me about the passage of time, they usually make a metaphor. They say time flows like a river, or we move through time like a ship sailing through the sea. The author argues that he wouldn't want to believe in that unless I saw good arguments for it. An objective becoming skill aims to convince readers that things could hardly be otherwise. To do so, he spends much of his book considering competing ideas about time, the ones that assume time does pass or move by us in some way. I was interested in seeing what kind of view of the universe you would have if you took these metaphors about the passage of time very, very seriously, Skill says. They say time flows like a river, or we move through time like a ship sailing through the sea. The author argues that he wouldn't want to believe in that unless I saw good arguments for it. Dr. Skill believes that in a so-called block universe, a theory which states that the past, present, and future exist simultaneously. In other words, this means that once an event has occurred, I think it means supposed to mean event, it continues to exist somewhere in space-time. The new controversial theory is backed up by Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, which indicates that space and time are in fact part of an intricate four-dimensional structure where everything that has occurred has its own coordinates in space and time. That's really interesting right there. All right. So Dr. Skill further details. The block universe theory says you're spread out in time, something like the way you're spread out in space. We're not located at a single time. So time and space are connected. In other words, Dr. Skill argues that while things change and we see time as if it were passing, Dr. Skill believes that we are in a scattered conditions and that different parts of time may be dotted around the infinite universe. So it'd be interesting to get his book, Objective Becoming, and just read more of his theory. But this is something that our ancestors have always stated. In fact, that the only thing that exists is the ever-now moment. Now, in some of my videos, you'll see where I've gone on to propose a theory that time works backwards. And let me just give you an example to illustrate this point. I've often used this example of someone, if you introduce an idea into the ever-present now moment, concurrently, it has to create a past and it has to create a future. So if I introduce the idea of someone drinking orange juice in this forever now moment, then an immediate past has to be created of that individual going into the refrigerator and pouring the glass of orange juice. And then a future would have to be proposed of the direction that they're going in. But again, these are all perspectives. The past and the future are all perspectives on the same now moment, because that is the only thing that exists. So from this theory, we can get into a lot of other things, and it can explain a lot of things that are happening around us and make sense of our reality. Because one of the things I've always said is that your history is subject to change depending upon what belief system you adapt in the here and the now moment. And you've seen, just based on the glass of orange juice example, that the minute you accept an idea or belief system, it creates a past for you. And it can also erase a past for you. This is why in hypnosis or hypnotherapy, if you want to overcome anything like a childhood trauma event, we can merely replace the past experiences with a new past, and you will believe it to be authentic and real. And therefore, it could clear you of the abuse that you may have endured as a child. So it's a really good article, and it opens the door to a lot of other things that can be explained. So this is Kasank Ma Kiparu, son of my aunt Ntuti, and my aunt is the beautiful goddess Hedaru. Till my next video, I'm in Ra.